Hey, what's up guys, John here. California is now working on a bill to allow migrants to buy their first home in America, in California.
A proposed bill working its way through Sacramento could make it easier for immigrants to purchase a home in California.
With 0% as a down payment and a 0 monthly payment. Now you think about that. Buying a house in Los Angeles might cost you $750 grand. You're putting 20% down, you need $1.50, 150 grand down payment. Boom. Then you need closing costs and escrow, and then your payment's probably $4 grand a month. You start to add all this stuff up, it's getting extremely expensive. Then it's pricing out a lot of people. But now, soon, migrants will be able to bypass this, and they'll be able to, essentially walk into one of these nice homes. But when you see what's happening there, that might sound kind of wild to some, but this is actually what's happening. I'll show you the wording. I'll show you it on the website. But when you see what's happening there, and you're like, okay, well maybe that's just California. That's California. They do things like that sometimes. Pretty radical things that other places wouldn't expect. But when you see what's happening with VA home loans and FHA loans, they make up 26% of the entire mortgage market in America. They are not reporting on foreclosures. We have no idea what's really happening on over 25% of the entire mortgage market. Now, why? Why is this happening? Why are there moratoriums on veteran home loans? Why are there moratoriums, almost moratoriums on FHA loans? And why are they putting all these 0% down payment offerings to kind of prop up the housing market and give everyone a false sense of security that everything is going okay? You have to ask yourself, is the housing market going to get rug pulled? Is there some big thing that's going to happen next? Because when you start to look at what's going on with Wall Street, it really makes you scratch your head. Because what they're doing, it's fascinating. They say Wall Street wants your home. They're offering homeowners now emergency home loans to where they can, give you some money to help offset some of this, burden of inflation. All they want is a piece of equity in your home, right? This is what's happening right now. They're saying that in the next 6 years, they will own 7.6 million single-family homes, 40% of the entire housing market. Now, I believe that the next couple of years are going to be extremely important to build wealth. And if you play your cards right, you'll do extremely well. But if you ignore the chain of events and the facts that are happening right now, it could be a big mistake. So I'm going to lay it all out for you. I'm going to show you exactly what's going on to help you and position you for what I think is going to be the greatest wealth transfer in American history. Please hit the like button, YouTube will share the content, educate more people about what's going on in America's economy. And if you'd like to fix your credit, we would love to help you at my company, GreatCreditFast.com. That's GreatCreditFast.com. If you have late payments, medical bills, charge-offs, foreclosures, bankruptcies, repossessions, or any negative item on your credit report, go to GreatCreditFast.com. Click the link in the description just below this video. Schedule a free strategy session for tomorrow. Take a look at this. So, state legislation would help migrants buy homes. It's AB 1840, right? And this is a California Dream for All down payment assistance program. Now, what they say here is California lawmakers propose expanding the state's zero down, no payment loan program to migrants due to the lack of housing production. Think about that. Zero down, no payment loan program. Due to the lack of housing production relative to the population and demand, California is currently ranking 49th in housing units per resident. Assembly Bill 1840 is an insult to California citizens who are being left behind. So this is their opinion of it, right? So when you see this, you have to look at this situation. When you're getting zero down, zero monthly payment loans, and you kind of see how this whole thing is moving, you have to ask yourself why. Why is all this happening? Right? Why is VA putting a moratorium on foreclosures until May of this year? This is on the VA website. This is va.gov right here. va.gov, you can see it in the URL. Right? Why are they doing this? And VA, that makes up 12% of the entire single-family mortgage market, right, as of 2021. Then you see FHA. There's a new foreclosure avoidance option for FHA loans. Here's what it means, to where they can reduce their payments by 25%. Right? To reduce their payments 25%. That makes up 14% in the second quarter, right? So 14% plus the 12%, that's 26% of the mortgage market. Then you have Bank of America announcing a zero down payment, zero closing cost mortgage for first-time home buyers in these communities nationwide. This is in Charlotte, Dallas, Detroit, LA, Miami, right? So you see all of these things that are happening. Why are these things happening in such a healthy economy, in such a great real estate market? Well, maybe because it's not. Maybe because we're in a completely different place than we've ever been in before. And without these, offerings and without doing what they're doing, everyone would realize the true panic of what's really going on in the U.S. economy and U.S. housing market. You start to really look at this. They say, is the housing market going to crash? What experts are saying? The experts are saying that it's not going to crash because there's a lack of inventory. But yet, you start to connect the dots here. Finally, America's home inventory is rising. Here's what its growth the most, right? So when you start to look at this, you're like, okay, everything is going up. Everything is going up, including home insurance, car insurance, property taxes, inflation. All these things are going up. Yet people can just, pay their mortgage. They can just pay their car payments. They can pay their credit card bills. But when you look at everything, they're missing payments everywhere. Car payments missing at record highs at 2008, 2009 levels. Credit card delinquencies through the roof. Student loans, 40% are not paying. I mean, everything is getting crazy. Like, for example, this guy right here. Everything is rising at a scary rate. Why car and home insurance costs are surging? This came out March 3rd, a couple days ago. Ezra Croft has never filed an insurance claim, and his house in Raleigh, North Carolina isn't close to a stormy coastline or a fire-prone forest. So Croft was surprised when his annual homeowner insurance premium shot up $1,600 or $700 more than what he was paying just a couple years ago. I'm a middle-income guy. Don't make a ton of extra money. At this point, I'm teetering on the point of inaffordability. Similar complaints can be heard all over the country. On average, insurance companies sought to raise homeowners' premiums by more than 11% last year. Auto insurance premiums climbed even faster. Take Paul Morrow. His auto insurance bill just jumped $600 a year. Here's the kicker. My wife and I both work from home, so we have no commute to speak of. The same thing's happened to me. My insurance is skyrocketed. Absolutely skyrocketed, no accidents. Homeowners insurance, skyrocketing. Everything is just going up. Like, I talk to my wife about this all the time. Like, how does the average person, making $50,000 a year, make it in a lot of places? Because everything is so crazy expensive. But yet people think that, hey, yeah, I can go out there and buy a $500,000 house or a $400,000 house at a 7.5% mortgage rate, paying $4,000 a month. How? The payment alone, forget the property tax and insurance, is $48,000 a year at $4,000 a month. Right? It's not sustainable. There's no way that this is going to maintain, and they know it, and that's why they're hiding all this with VA and the FHA and doing all these different things. Why your auto and home insurance premiums are surging. 8 key factors that will affect your car insurance premiums. Right? They're seeing these rates continuing to skyrocket. They're saying the cost of car ownership is getting painful. They say America's pinch also utility bills are skyrocketing. But what I find very fascinating, and they say these massive layoffs are coming to these 3 states, which is California, Washington, and New York. What I find very fascinating here is kind of how this whole thing is going to play out. So this top economist who called the 2008 housing crash pours cold water on soft landing, pointing to rate hikes and a softer labor market. So rate hikes, we went from rate cuts January 1st, everyone's saying, hey, yeah, January 1st, 2023, we're going to start to see rate cuts. We're already in March. And people have stopped talking about this upcoming rate cut. And now, the Fed's even talking about a rate increase. So you have top economists. You have people from Apollo. You have really, really wealthy, powerful, and connected people saying that we're probably going to see rates going up. So this is how this all works out, because this actually benefits Wall Street in a huge way. So Wall Street wants your home. Well, that's obvious. And what they say here is, so this guy received a letter, and it says from California-based company called Point would propose an unorthodox solution. Instead of Schumer borrowing money against the current value of his home, Point offered to pay Schumer a lump sum of cash in exchange for a share of his home's future appreciation. In essence, the company was betting that the price of his home would keep climbing, and it wanted to get in on the action. These kinds of deals, often referred to as home equity sharing agreements or home equity investments, have existed on the fringes of housing finance for decades, but Point is a handful of relatively young companies backed by some of the world's biggest investors that are hoping to take products mainstream. And so what they're essentially doing is they're trying to take, look at this, they proposed a promised Point 64.9% of any appreciation on his home in exchange for $60,000 in cash, right? So what Wall Street's probably doing, if I had to bet, is they're picking certain markets, probably lower income markets that have a very low probability of massive increases on property insurance, away from the coast. They're picking certain markets, where homeowners are really kind of tapped out financially, and they're going to start offering these emergency loans. And then they're going to start, as the labor market starts falling apart, they're going to need to sell these properties. And how can they sell a property when they have a lien holder like Point or one of these other companies that is also a decision maker on that property? Maybe Point will sell the property with them. Maybe Point will have, some type of balloon payment or some type of clause. I don't know, right? I don't think a lot of people do, because these are newer products that are getting offered. And soon, America is going to understand the severity of just how bad the situation is going to get and just how aggressive Wall Street is going to get on the housing market. So they say right here that, look at this. The sizable U.S. home investor share seen over the past 2 years held steady going into the summer. In March 2023, investors accounted for 27% of single-family home purchases. By June, that number was almost unchanged at 26%. Now, according to CNBC, they are saying that institutional investors may control 40% of single-family home rental homes by 2030. And they say that's going to be 7.6 million properties. 7.6 million. So this is moneywise.com, that's CNBC. All of this is coming out. You have Unusual Wells, you have all these different Yahoo Finance saying the same thing. All of these different outlets saying the same exact thing, that they're going to essentially take over the housing market. Now, I believe they will. I believe that that's actually going to happen. I think we're going to see a really big change in AI and robotics. We're going to see a lot of layoffs unfold over the next several years. We're going to see inflation likely get a lot worse, people getting pushed out of their homes, and Wall Street stepping in to buy as many of them as they possibly can. Now, I think if people are really, really smart and strategic, they're getting out of high interest rate consumer debt, they're in a really, really good job, or they have a really good company, and they're just making really smart decisions to really stockpile cash, to really build out a war chest of cash, to be able to go out there and invest. Now, there's going to be a tax on holding that cash. Inflation is going to continue to erode the purchasing power, but having a lot of dry powder is going to really benefit you in an environment where most people desperately need it to, to feed themselves, to get by. And so they're going to be forced to sell off assets to those that have cash. And that's why Wall Street's sitting on a lot of money. That's why Warren Buffett's sitting on a record pool of cash through Berkshire. I think a lot of these companies are sitting on so much money because they realize that we're in the silent depression and that things are about to get really, really hard in America. And they want to be ready for it. What do you think about this entire situation? What do you think about what's going on in California? What's happening with VA loans? What's going on with FHA loans? All these changes, all coming together to kind of mask what's happening in the housing market. Drop below, let's have a conversation about this. And if you'd like to fix your credit to position yourself for this massive real estate wealth transfer, we'd love to help you at my company, GreatCreditFast.com. That's GreatCreditFast.com. If you have late payments, medical bills, charge-offs, foreclosures, bankruptcies, repossessions, or any negative item in your credit report, go to GreatCreditFast.com. Click the link in the description just below this video. Schedule a free study session for tomorrow. Catch you next video.